Hello, everyone. Welcome to Lunchtime with Demons, the podcast. And I am your host, Bella Caress, and I'm here with Ryan Stone. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, Bella?
I'm doing. I'm I have a squishmallow here, my support squishmallow, and the lack thereof makeup today. It's a very rainy, like vibey day today here in New York, and I am enjoying it very
I
much.
love that. We've had some rain finally the last week or so here.
Yeah. How's the shop?
Oh, it's going great. I did finally get some visits. We had Simon stop in on Saturday when we had the big plant sale. So I didn't get a whole lot of time with them, but they seemed really, really awesome. They said they'd followed you since LA, so they've been around for quite some time. And was really happy meeting him and their partner. And then Lavender and Ember stopped in. I think it was like Thursday. No, it was Wednesday. I think Wednesday. But
That's so cool.
yeah, it was great seeing them and getting to hang out for a little bit while they got to enjoy the shop. So it was a lot of fun.
Mm, that's so cool. It's interesting. Like when you brought up Simon, I was like, oh my gosh, like it feels like another life. It really does. Like living in Los Angeles literally just feels like another life. It's wild.
Yeah, it's interesting how life can be like that.
Yeah. Um, yeah. It's I thought about that today, actually, interestingly enough. I was sitting at the gym, and there's there's something very wild that happened in my life not that long ago that I can't really share, but it is like very literally proof of timeline jumping. And I know that I sound insane and I don't really care how you feel about it. I don't care how crazy I sound. I live in delusional and you can suck it. But I have proof of it. And I was sitting there staring at the proof. And that's sometimes what I do at the gym is like I just sit there and I stare at it because it's like still there. And I just very much was like I have this feeling of watching the current time, like watching the old timeline that I jumped from dissolve. I'm still watching it dissolve, and I'm in this like this liminal space between timelines right now. And it is so uncomfortable, but it is also so still and so like weird. And I'm like in this place of surrender, like deep, deep surrender to the divine, to everything. And it's just weird. And I was thinking about Los Angeles and I was thinking about my time there and how I hope I was hoping that like the world like that this timeline would bring me back to LA. And I had this feeling that it probably will at some point, for sure. And I got this little like spark inside of me of excitement that I was like, oh, hmm. And it is interesting because the old version of me very much feels gone, but I'm excited for this new version of me to go back to LA with a different perspective. I felt very much like at the mercy of Los Angeles when I lived there. And even as a psychic, I was very lucky that as a psychic, I was very unique in that what I specialized in was unique, like my focus being on shadow work and working with the infernal divine and people coming to me for deity work and kind of tapping into their more their dark side. None for lack of better words. That's how I was marketed, okay? Because in truth, everything in Los Angeles is about marketing,
Mm.
even down to people. And, as a psychic, I felt like I was really marketed. Like I had a bio that like at the front of the shop, people could like flip through the book and like go through your bio. And I have a bio for, the psychics for Bell Tarot on our website. And um I felt very marketed. And um but it's I don't know. It's interesting because like it was when I learned that I actually like didn't give shit about that. It was when I really like being in the midst of it made me realize how much I fucking hated it. And I hated like I wouldn't conform to it. Like I just refuse. But
Yeah,
because
totally.
of that resistance, I think I like really didn't like it there. But now I'm excited to go back because I'm comfortable in that resistance. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, you welcome it almost because you understand why it is resistance, right? It's like strength training in a way, is that we welcome, putting heavier weight on, and kind of in
Hmm.
this work, you put heavier weights on with the things you're willing to work through and carry, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And now I feel like if I went back, I could shed some light into the world and like be a light in Los Angeles and be someone that, you know, I think is a breath of fresh air there, which is much needed, ironically, being that it's the air is beautiful and like the weather is beautiful. But I think sometimes the people can be crushing. And I get it. It's because it's like it is a very, very, very difficult the culture is difficult. Everyone is trying to make it.
Yeah.
Everyone's just trying to make it. They're trying to make ends meet or they're trying to make their dreams come true. And I have so much respect for that. I do. Like, as someone who is like a balls to the wall kind of person, like, you work for what you want and you plant those fucking seeds and you do it. You do the thing, you do the hard work. As someone that has lived their entire life with that type of like endurance, like I understand, but I've also like learned the soft side of life. And that to me is worth so much more now that I think I could actually go to LA and like really enjoy it and enjoy its beauty and enjoy and I don't know. I'm actually like I'm excited to even if it's just to travel back to LA for a little while. I'm excited to have a new perspective on that particular area. But I had so much I was really reminiscing today. So I think it's really cool that you got to see Simon. And I also love that you saw Ember and Lavender. They're so wonderful.
Yeah, they're great. I
They
enjoy
really
them.
are. I know that Lavender listens to the podcast.
Yeah, yeah, they start listening to the podcast too. Funny thing though, before you move on, is I did actually recently see you going back to LA as well.
Really? You booger. You should tell me those things. You're
I'll
like,
get
I was,
around to it when it's right. I like
I'll get
I
around.
like the right timing of it. We did that new moon thing and it kind of popped up in there.
Hmm. Oh, it's, yeah. I feel like I move a lot. I'm always like,
I I'm the same way. I have no roots.
yeah, East
So
Coast, West Coast, East Coast, West Coast. I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised if I leave the country at some point.
totally. I'd
You're
be
like,
down to
by
do
the
that.
way, I didn't want to
Maybe.
say it, but no, no, no. Anyways, to the point of the podcast, right? We love to
Yes.
go on a little tangent, but I'm excited to talk about this. We're talking about episode 3 of a wonderful series that we started on how to work with Lucifer, how to work with any deity, frankly, because if you are choosing this particular approach, this is just one of many approaches to how to work with the deity, but just this is our approach. And so it shall be. Let's talk about it.
I'm
Um,
really excited for it. I think loving to hear the growth of this and being able to share it. I think with some of our newer folks that are maybe just picking up this, I think is a great way for it to start.
yeah, I agree. We left off talking about altars, talking about really like coming to a place where you are self-realizing. Um, and I didn't really leave us in a place where it was about action as much as it was about realization. Realization and potentially the setting up the physical things that you need or want. And coming to terms with what is making you feel good versus what is habitual or, being something that you feel obligated to do, like setting up those altars and making it you and really embodying the work that you're doing because you're realizing that you are the work. So today I wanted to talk about clair abilities, meditation, and doing some of the other things that will help you with communicating with the divine because that's such an integral part to deity work is being able to communicate. um I laugh, but like literally beyond like the question I get, which is how do I work with him? I get this other question, which is how do I talk to him? Fair. It's a fair question. It's a super fair question. The other thing that I hear so much is I don't know if I have clairs. I hear that a lot from people where they're like, I don't know if I have clair abilities. I don't know if I'm psychic. I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I have any psychic abilities. Um, I am a firm believer, and this is just my personal opinion. And as always, I will just reiterate for those in the back that are hard of hearing. This is not fact. This is my opinion. Take it or leave it, and please use your discernment as an adult. I am a believer in the idea that these are not gifts, that our abilities are a natural and intricate part of being human, that they are tied to the fact that we are conscious and that it is a part of the nervous system and a part of the very literal, like biological part of our brain and the neural pathways within our brain and how we communicate with consciousness. Makes me think of DMT. How like DMT is in our body, and when you take DMT, you have that transition. I haven't taken DMT, but I know about it. You transition into seeing like this there they call it like the doorway or the portal. There's this transition and it's like very like all these like geometric shapes and then you transition into this place or this room or this portal and then you meet these entities. Um well, are you actually leaving your physical body? If I was to videotape you on DMT, you never leave the physical plane. But every single person that takes DMT comes back. They tell you the same thing, which is they were not on this plane. They were not here. They were like any person you've ever met that has taken DMT, they will tell you if you tell them like, "Oh, you were here. That was just an hallucination." They will say, "Fuck you. Fuck you." They will fucking flip out on you because they'll be like, "I will be damned if that was just a hallucination. That was not a hallucination. Yes, it was, sure, but no." And there is a massive theory happening right now. Actually, you recently sent it to me, but those two neuroscientists that are working on that theory, called it's eluding me. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I will look it up. We'll put it in the notes.
Okay, yeah,
Um,
you'll have to, because I don't know why it escapes me. I know I sent you something like that, and I can't remember what it was now.
mhm. Anyway, there's a theory that I can't remember the name, but there are two neuroscientists working on it right now where they are trying to basically figure out that consciousness is connected to um it is like the fibers within our neural pathways and like how they are like like webbed together. um and so meaning it's a theory, meaning they're starting to study it and try to figure out and that literally like by working like connecting those in certain ways, some people activating those in other ways, frequencies, different like access to those neural pathways and a continuous engagement of those pathways are literally making it more possible to connect to the conscious, like the conscious we, like the universe and other like higher frequency entities or dimensions even. Like oh my God, it's wild. It's wild. I'm so glad. I'm so glad that we are seeing a new earth where people are finally prioritizing or theorizing upon consciousness and theorizing upon um spirituality and clair abilities. And I would like to just say that when I die, please donate my brain to science. Please, please, please. Well, I'm alive right now, and if you are a neuroscientist and you would like to mess with my brain and my psychic abilities, I will 100% donate myself right now for free. Please use me as a test dummy. Um, let's see what's happening. But truly, I'm so glad that we're starting to bridge that gap. But I don't think it's a gift. I don't think it's the gods that give you a gift. I also don't think that we isolate them. I don't think that you have clairvoyance and that's it. I don't think that you are claircognizant and that's it. I think that we are all of them, and some of them are more developed than others. And based on how we navigate some of the other factors of our life, like trauma, being neurotypical or neurodivergent, or some of our other sort of human conditions that we work through that have to do with our psyche, based on those factors and conditions, it has a lot to do with different clair abilities, how we access them, and how we can develop them. So, what am I trying to say? Let me simplify this for you. I'm saying that we all have them. It has to do with practice. It also has to do with the belief in the self. So, working through self-doubt, um, navigating self-doubt and navigating imposter syndrome. The honestly recognizing the self in the practice is also really pivotal. Like recognizing the importance of the self, prioritizing the self, self-care, self-love, sort of radical self-acceptance. Um, whether that's, seeing a therapist, going to the gym, taking care of your health, taking care of your fucking sanity, protecting your peace, recognizing your patterns, stop people pleasing, stop doing these things that are really taking energy from you continuously, stop bleeding your energy willy-nilly out in the world for no reason, because it's what you're used to. Stop doing what you're used to because it's comfortable. Stop making other people comfortable out of basically out of the stake being you. Like you are not a bartering chip here. Like in truth, all of these things affect your clairs. They affect your clair abilities. I know you don't want to hear it. I know we don't like it. We want our clair abilities to just come in a handbasket with a little bow on top. We don't want to do the work for it. Um, but you have to. And some people will say, well, if my mental health isn't in check, can I connect with my clair abilities? Yes, you can. You can. There is someone in my life that is incredibly mentally unstable, that has incredible clair abilities. What she receives, though, the messages that she receives are incredibly jumbled. I will be honest. This is not true for everyone, though. This is a case by case situation. I have had over 1,000 clients, and I've had 100 something. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out exactly how many students I've had. It's almost 100, I'm pretty sure. Um, when it comes to Hey Coach. But it's hard because I've also had students that like are not technically Hey Coach, but like I've taught them. Um, but I don't really like to consider anyone my student until they're formally Hey Coach students. But within Hey Coach, I've had almost 100. Um, but then I've like done master classes and stuff like, like you and I did one like when I was in Kansas and stuff like that. So it's like I've had people like do classes with me in person and stuff. So it's like it's tough because I'm like, oh, I've had students in Florida and I've had students in Kansas and I've taught in all these different places. So it's like it's tricky because I'm like, fuck, they're still students, but if I count them, then it's over 100 students. which doesn't sound like a lot, but it is actually quite a bit of people because I've only been teaching this for a couple of years because I didn't honestly want to teach this, honestly, because it's very hard and there's a lot of nuance to it and there's a lot, and every single fucking person is different. That's the worst part.
Exactly. That's the
Be
hard part about teaching it.
yeah, because of your because of your makeup, your map of, like I said, neurodivergence, mental health, your map of patterns and habits and your lifestyle and your upbringing and your this and your that and your way of coping, whatever it is, it colors everything. It colors all of your abilities. It colors all of it, all of it, all of it, all of it. So if have these incredible abilities, how do you know what's being colored and what's not? How do you know? Right. And as your teacher, my job is not to make everything you do look like me. It's not to make it look like how I think it should look. Right. But if you're a right wing Republican and you're coming at me and you're like, Lucifer is the devil and he loves Jesus and he hates abortion. Okay. Okay, I disagree with you there, right? But I disagree with you culturally, socially. I think, whatever. I'm like, you and I are not, we don't agree, right? But my job is to go, okay, let's pause. We don't agree, you and I. We are not the same. But we need to look at Lucifer for a second. Let's look at what is he about? So he is a god of sovereignty. He's a god of the personal autonomy, right? Self. Yeah. Like radical self acceptance, self love, self care. He's he's a god of choice. Yeah. He's also the god of discipline. A lot of people forget that. They work with him and they're like, why does he want me at the gym every day? I don't get it. He's a god of discipline. Okay. So he's all these things, right? So I'm like, now hold up what you're saying, which is like he hates abortion, right? Hold that up against all the things that we know about him. Is there dissonance between what you're saying and what he stands for? If there is, then we need to look at the filter that you're seeing something through. So that's my job as a teacher, is to show you, is to help you see where you're coloring something, even if you don't like it. Your job is to go, how do I do this? Okay. So I can help you figure that out. I can help you figure it out. I may say to you, this is something you need to go to your therapist for. I've done it. I've had to. I've had to, especially if I think it has to do with trauma, especially if I think it has to do with like your mental, like if it's like I had a client with schizophrenia. I've had some clients with some things that I'm like, this is absolutely out of my wheelhouse. And this is something that before we even get to X, we got to start at B, and I think you need to work on blank. Does that mean that they can't practice? No. Does that mean that they can't connect? No. It just means that for that one particular filter, that might be a little hard to navigate until they work through X, Y, and Z. So there's so much gray area. This is the point of me bringing this up. Nothing is black and white when it comes to clairs. Nothing. People want it to be black and white so bad. I have seen people literally go, I don't know how to do anything, to becoming some of the best fucking psychics that have ever read for me. And it has blown my mind. And I would love to take all the credit for it. But in truth, it's not me. It's the fact that I guess I was a part of it, but it's not me. It's you. It's when you choose you and you're willing to look at yourself in the mirror and you're willing to really, really look, even at the things that you don't really like, and you're willing to do the work. That's where I come in. There's a lot of homework and there's a lot of things that I'm going to ask you to do that you don't want to do. And you're gonna go, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like that. Why are you making me do that? I don't like that. Okay, try it. Or tell me why you don't like it. You don't have to like it. Tell me why you don't like it. Believe it or not, actually don't mind being told you don't like something. The thing is, with clairs, they require work. It's practice. They require kind of looking at them, tearing them apart, working on it a little bit, and then, leaving it alone. Integration process. Giving it a chance to sit with it, play with it, not be mean to yourself, not criticize yourself, not criticize your abilities, not say, well, she can do this or they can do this or he can do this. No, it's not about wanting your abilities to be more than what they are. It's really about loving yourself where you are.
Yeah, that level of self-awareness, I think, is foundationally the part that grows into all those other things. And
Yeah.
that's what I think starts that journey for you.
Yeah. A lot of people start with tarot, and this is going to be my number one suggestion because I'm a sucker for the tarot, guys. I've been doing tarot. I got my first deck when I was 16. I'm going to be 40 this year. I've been reading since. I'm an eternal student to the tarot. I love it. I will always be. Um, it blows my mind all the time. Almost every day, I learn something from it. There is not a day that goes by that I do not touch a deck. Um, I go through phases where I have way too many and then I get rid of all of them. I never have less than 20. Um, my heart, there's something about it. It's just the sound of it, the sound of a shuffle too. It gets me every time. I love it. I love it. I know people fucking hate it. Okay. Hear me out. I get it. Okay. But I also know why you hate it because I know how it's taught typically and it's overwhelming, especially for the neurodivergent mind. It is not taught typically. I do not find that it is taught in a way that is beneficial for the neurodivergent mind. And if you know anything about me, I care a lot about the neurodivergent mind, to the point that my book Numos, not to like promote myself, but my book Numos is written with the neurodivergent mind in mind. And I'm very excited for you to eventually have that book in your hand. And hopefully you get to enjoy it and see what I'm saying about that a little bit. But I my suggestion to you with learning the tarot is one, give yourself time, not to memorize, but to experience. Take one card and allow yourself to compare it to your own life. Think of stories, think of times that you've had that experience. See yourself as the fool. When were you in a moment where you were deeply in love? When were you in a moment where you were terrified of falling in love? When were you in a moment where love ripped your heart out? When were you in a moment where you felt like love wasn't meant for you or it was going to skip you or love was good or love betrayed you? We've all had these moments and they all live on those cards. And when you can see yourself in the story, you connect with the cards and the stories move through you. Also, you're the authority, not the cards. These cards are made in a factory, babe. You are the authority, not the cards. The cards don't tell you the story. You tell the cards the story. The cards are a navigation system. So, how do you involve them when you're communicating with the divine? Well, first of all, get yourself a deck. If you want my personal opinion, get yourself a deck that has imagery that you really, really, really resonate with. Take your time buying the deck. If you've heard in the past that you are not allowed to buy your own tarot deck, that's bullshit. It's just my opinion. Take it or leave
I
it.
had that discussion this week with somebody.
But in my opinion, that's some horseshit, old traditional stupid rules that don't make sense. And also, if you are such a stickler for that rule, please send me an email and I'll mail you a deck. I literally don't care. But please find a deck that resonates. The imagery has to resonate. I want you to love the imagery so much that you're like, oh, I can't look away. You don't need to sleep with it under your pillow, but if you want to, go for it. And allow yourself to play with the shuffle, learn how to shuffle, and light your candle, light the altar. If you have drawn their sigil and you have their sigil on the altar, go for it. A lot of people ask me, am I allowed to use the seals that are around the sigil, the circle that are around the sigil? You're welcome to. Who cares? If you want to, go for it. You don't need to. It's not necessary. Um, those sigils were drawn for to become more aesthetically pleasing. They don't actually hold any sort of power or authority, even though at one point we were taught that they did. They don't. So, if you have your sigil going, maybe you have some sort of mantra in your head that you're like saying over and over and over. Maybe you have an end chant playing in the background, or you have some sort of meditation music or piano music, and you have some incense going because you're like, ooh, I felt like Lucifer was a frankincense kind of guy, or a sandalwood kind of guy, or some caramel or vanilla, or some cinnamon. He loves cinnamon, or maybe blackberry, whatever. You have something going for him and you poured him a glass of whiskey or a glass of wine and you're just vibing and you're like, I've got my little tarot deck here and I love the imagery of this tarot deck. What the fuck do I do next? Well, guess what? You're going to shuffle your deck and you're going to connect. Now, something I teach a lot of my students is I teach them this very intense meditation where they learn about root systems. And we use the root system to connect to the collective. And I got this idea because I was studying fungi, I was studying mushrooms, and I became obsessed with mycelium. Mycelium is the underground root system that connects all mushrooms. It is the network or the ultimate organism underneath the ground. I am a super nerd if you have not figured this out yet about me. Welcome. Anyway, so the reason why I teach my students about the root systems to a tree is because I teach people that you are a tree. You are this beautiful, incredible tree, and you protect an amazing ecosystem. You have birds and squirrels and bugs and leaves, and you have this beautiful ecosystem that you are protecting. And you have roots, and your roots are so important. And they are intermingled with fungi, they're intermingled with other trees, and they're so important. And when you're trying to connect to another's energy, whether that's the divine or other people, you can actually move your energy down through your roots and connect to another tree or connect to another person or divine being. And you can connect and then recoil and come back to your tree trunk when you're ready. And then obviously I teach my students how to transmute energy. Not something we're going to talk about right now, but we can have a whole episode on transmutation in the future. But um and so what I would like to say in regards to this is I want you to literally visualize moving your energy out of your pretty tree and moving it towards Lucifer and allow it to flow through your tarot deck, flow through the music that you're playing, allow it to flow through your body, and just allow this energy to move. And don't force it. Detach from the outcome. You're going to hate me. Detach from the outcome. Okay? You do not need to pull the perfect cards. You do not need to hear him say, hello, my child. I am the Lord, the Dark Lord here. And you have come to me for what? You know, like that's not going to happen. It might, but it would be odd. So, What you might feel is warm. You might feel the feeling of a presence in the room. You might feel the urge to start shuffling your deck. You might feel the call to say something out loud, like, I know you're here, or thank you for coming, or I can feel your energy, or I love you so much, or I'm so grateful for your presence. Allow yourself to be moved. Remember, it is energy. Remember that he is energy, you are energy. This is a frequency, and you're connecting. That mycelium, that root system is lit up and it is glowing. Allow yourself to visualize, allow yourself to imagine. Allow that inner child to create a world in your mind. And you're going to have moments where you're like, I'm making it up. This is absolute bullshit. Okay, cool. Great. Sure. When you give yourself an opportunity to detach from the outcome, to allow yourself to be one with energy, to embrace and engage with spirit in such a way, you will be shocked to see the way that spirit moves to validate you after this experience. I can assure you. So, say you do this and then you shuffle your deck and you get the Empress and you get like the Fool. Let's just pretend I'm just making up two bullshit cards. And you are done and you're like, wow, okay, so I'm embarking on a new adventure. Maybe you use your guidebook because you don't know what the cards mean. That's okay. And you're like, oh, cool, I'm starting on a new adventure. And this is an adventure that he's really wanting me to start on is about nurturing the self and nurturing my relationship with him and allowing this new thing to grow and become something beautiful. So then you leave the house and for some reason you see like 40 pregnant women, but you're not clocking it. And yet everyone around you is pregnant. And you're going around and then you finally clocks you and you're like, wow, it was like, oh, cool, it's baby shower. That's fun. And then you leave and somebody walks outside and they've got like a dog at their foot and they're walking their dog and you're not thinking anything of it. And then there's like a giant thing of roses and they're like, oh, smell this rose, like this rose perfume that I just bought. And you're like, oh, that smells really good. All things that are associated with both cards that you got. The Empress is pregnant. The Fool is usually holding a rose. There's a dog. You wouldn't really know that those are signs. I would. I've been doing this long enough. I would see all that shit and I'd be like, holy shit, that's amazing.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they give signs like that. And there's so many times where like some of my clients are like, I'm not getting any signs. And I'm like, oh, I bet you are. You're just not seeing them. And they're like, well, then why would they show me signs that I'm not seeing? And I'm like, because in time you will. In time you will. And they're going to continue to flood the world with them. The world is the sign. The world is the sign. Look around. But there's also this little part of you that's going, I'm not worth it. Why would they do that for me? And what you're not realizing is you are them, they are you, you are the universe. We're all worth it. We're all just getting by, babe. And that connection will grow. You'll start to long for that moment with him. And he'll long for it with you. You'll feel him pulling at you, like, come sit with me, come sit with me, come sit with me. And you'll want to. You'll want to. You'll start to feel it. You'll be out and about and you're like, oh, I just can't wait to like come home and sit with Lucifer for a little bit. And then the next day, you'll pull the same cards. You'd be surprised how many times the same card will pop out. But then boom, you get a new card and it's Nine of Swords. And you're like, whoa, wait, what? Why? Why the Nine of Swords? What the fuck am I anxious about? What do you mean? What do you mean anxiety and fear? What are you talking about? I feel great right now. We're vibing in this frequency. But really, all day, you've just been like dreading something at work. And he's like, we should probably work on that, huh? We should probably work on that perspective. And then you're like, yeah, I probably should. And then you're at work and you think about the Empress because Sally Joe just walked by and she's like, by the way, guys, I'm pregnant. Or by the way, guys, I went to the best spa this weekend. It was amazing. I felt so nurtured and taken care of. It was great. And then like Amy in the corner just bought herself a dozen roses, and Jack's dog took a shit this morning in his floor and he's like, my dog's an asshole, whatever it is. In truth, like it's all around us, it's everywhere. And that moment should be the moment where you go, oh my God, I'm literally working with Lord Lucifer. The work has begun. It's that simple. And that moment, it takes something really big from you. And it's really hard to do. It takes you to say, I work with Lord Lucifer. And that's it. Nobody's coming. Nobody's coming to give you a card that says, congratulations, you started working with Lord Lucifer. Welcome to the club. We meet on Thursdays. You have to wear black. We have a secret handshake. When we'll teach you the hand jive, then you can get in. Yeah. You have to bring banana bread. It's a cult. Abella will be there. She's kind of a bitch. You'll see. Everyone thinks I'm mean. It's really funny. Everyone thinks like in real life they're gonna meet me and then I'm like a mean person. I'm not. I'm the same person, I promise.
I'll concur.
Talk to my talk to anyone who's known me for a couple of years, I promise. But I kind of like that they think that because then like people leave me alone. Because because in truth, I'm really just like a kicked puppy that a lot of people are really mean to me. But I did get this squishmallow and she's mean.
It's got kind of scrunched up face.
She's learning how to be tough. That's actually what she is. That's why I bought her.
Ah, there.
She's learning how to be tough, and I'm learning how to be tough. I'm in a new era. Something I'm working on with Lucifer is I'm in a new phase of my life where I'm allowing people to think what they want about me, and I'm not correcting them. And I'm no longer doing anything that I don't want to do. And that includes making you comfortable if you've made me uncomfortable. And that means to some people, it can come off as cold or mean or shitty, and that's okay. And this is a hard place to be as an ex people pleaser. So, in turn, you will start to do things and work with Lucifer on things that will scare you, that will change people's perspective of you, that will change the way you see the world, because that's what working with him is like. You do not have to work with him. You can actually connect with Lucifer's energy, worship Lucifer, admire Lucifer without ever actually engaging in the work. And that's okay too. Remember that. I think we're going to do an episode that is a little bit more in depth for people that are a bit more advanced. Let's say you get past this point, you've been doing this for a year now, 2 years, and you're really like, you have a beautiful, in-depth relationship with Lucifer, and you're ready to go to the next phase, that next chapter. We do have episodes that would cover these things like covenants, bindings, priesthood. We have episodes on that. Please feel free to go listen to them. But I'd like to do an episode that's a little bit more connected to this about how you integrate covenants, bindings, and priesthood into a practice because it looks different.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to see that too, because I think a lot of what we did in the others were more just the theoreticals of it, and
Mm-hmm.
it's being more that working side of it in the praxis.
Yes. Those two things are so different. So I think we'll do a part 4 then on this, working with Lucifer, part 4 for advanced. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'd be great.
Okay.
I think a lot of people that we know too that listen will enjoy that as well.
Yeah, I think so too. Because I would like to talk about signs of priesthood where you're like starting to feel like Lucifer might be pushing you in that direction or you're pushing you in that direction. You'll notice it because you start to become a part of the community. Big time. Suddenly you're doing work in the community, you're helping local community, you're part of your physical community and you're part of your like whether it's on the internet or like parasocial community or you start building a community or running communities. you start to notice that there is like really big, your hands, your arms start holding a lot of bags. Like you're coming in from the grocery store holding 400 bags and you're like, what is happening and why? And then before you know it, they're like pushing you towards a level of service. And a lot of people are like, am I being pushed towards priesthood? Or I have a lot of people that are like, I'm a priestess. And I'm like, you are? Wait, what? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, for what? And then they were like, I don't know. And I'm like, wait, what's happening? So I think that some people don't know what priesthood is, I guess. And I also think that some people, when they get approached for priesthood, they panic and they don't know how that God may be at, like what they're asking of them. Because not all priesthood is community service. Some priesthood is to the God specifically, which I've seen too, where it's not community focused. It's focused on the way that they work with that God and then how they transfer that energy out into the world. And that is something that is not necessarily like very common. And people get a lot of shit for. I've seen like, oh my God, people tear priesthood and infernals apart. And so I want to talk about some of the different ways that I've seen priesthood play out. I also see people not understand patrons and what that means. There's a lot of things. We did talk about this though. I'd like to be clear. I have talked about this. I've gone over this in different episodes. I'm like, I know I've covered this shit. But I think we'll hit it from a place of practice perspective.
And I
Um
think that's another thing we do, and I think really well, is that we kind of start looking at things from different aspects. And so
mhm.
that is why sometimes the topics may be very similar, but we're usually approaching it or showing it from a different perspective to give alternate viewpoints as well.
And that's something I guess I'll end this episode on is remember, we are talking about something that is not black and white. There are many perspectives here. There are nuances to this. Ryan and I have we can talk about one thing and have like 40 different perspectives on one thing. And we are trying to give you everything that we have, but it is very rare for Ryan and I to be like, "Oh, we're dying on this hill. This is black and white." It's very rare because the more you do this work, the less and less sure you are of anything, the less and less fact anything becomes, the more and more fluid everything becomes, the more and more delusional you really get. And it's honestly, it's okay. It's okay. It's good because you become detached from this outcome, this so-called outcome of a practice. You become alive. Really, truly. It sounds fucking crazy, but you become alive because your practice is alive. It's alive. It's a live doctrine that's changing and moving every single fucking day with you, evolving with you. It's so beautiful when it's like that, when it's fluid and organic like that. It's so beautiful. And instead of putting it in a box with all of these unnecessary limitations, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. I have lived in a box with my practice, and I will be damned. I will never go back. Be damned before I go back. Fuck that.
Completely.
Yeah. But
Just a
this was
command.
so fun as I sit here in my dirty gym clothes and no makeup with a squishmallow. This was really fun. And I am so lucky to call you my friend Ryan.
Oh,
And so lucky to have all of you listening. Thank you. Even in my weird liminal space, as I expressed at the beginning of this episode, I am also feeling an immense amount of gratitude for the people in my life and for my clients, and the people who I get to do sessions with and spend time with. Thank you very, very much. And hopefully, I see you all on the next episode.
see you next week.
See you next week.